My next guest is a two-time Super Bowl champion with the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as one of the greatest cornerbacks in team history. Ladies and gentlemen, Ike Taylor. Ike, is everything going for you?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm good. I can't complain. How's everything going? How's your offseason?
Good. Offseason going good. Just taking time with the family.
Awesome.
Get my son and my nephews trained for football.
Awesome. Are you in Florida? Where are you based out of?
Yeah, I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. Magic didn't do too well this year.
Yeah, Magic ain't do too well. I don't really never do too well, man. They ain't been doing good since the White, Penny, Anthony Hardaway, and Shaq left.
Yeah, no, it's and then every year they just take like a 6'9" guy who can't shoot, who's a good perimeter defender. So I don't know what the hell they're doing. So
I know, right?
It's wild. Our question, because I know you're in Pittsburgh for a while, right? I'm in DC. You guys getting the cicadas or not in Florida?
Nah. We good on that.
Yeah. No. Did you remember when they were here a while back when you were in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So apparently they're coming in the next couple of weeks. So I'm getting ready. So it's just crazy. So what were your thoughts on the draft? I know we wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. Free agency kind of still a couple guys waiting to get signed. What have been your thoughts on kind of off season, especially for the Steelers?
I like what they did with the draft. Shockingly, they got a running back in Najee Harris. So I didn't expect them to get a running back that early. But at the same time, when you just look at the old school personality, what you want back on offense, the ground and pound, the days when they had Jerome Bettis, Willie Parker, Deuce Staley, some of them guys. Then you go back to the 70s, the Rocky Blyers, the Mean Joe Greens, the Franco Harrises. That's that old school personality, man. We're going to run the ball. Y'all going to know we're going to run the ball. We're going to smash y'all on defense. So that's what they're getting back to.
Where did you think they were going to address in the first round if it wasn't running back?
I was looking at an outside linebacker because that's what Pittsburgh is known to do. Get the T.J. Watts, get the Lamar Woodleys, get the Devin Bushes. Just historically, that's what Pittsburgh is known for. Usually when they get them a Ryan Shazier, so usually when they get them a first round linebacker, their linebacker usually become a Pro Bowl, All-Pro to the Hall of Fame. So since the departure of a Bud Dupree, I was thinking, you know what? They might wind up getting the outside linebacker, but they messed my whole head up. They wind up getting a good running back in Najee Harris.
You think they're going to regret not trading up for a QB?
No, not at all.
No.
I think they like what they got. As much as people don't like Mason Rudolph, the organization likes Mason Rudolph, especially his growth. So they're looking at that Cleveland game. That Cleveland game, Pittsburgh didn't really play no starters last year. Cleveland needed that game to win. They played all their starters, and Mason didn't do bad at all. So I know a lot of people wouldn't agree with me with that, but just looking at it from my personal standpoint, they did that just right, So, and then you go in for agency and you get you another, first round quarterback coming from the Washington team. You sign him for little to nothing. So that brings another competition level in Dwayne Haskins in that quarterback group. And he can also learn under Big Ben. So Pittsburgh know what they're doing, man. They've been doing this for a long time. They got a plan and a recipe. So as much as I want to fight against it, I still got to stick to the script and understand they've been doing it for a long time.
You think this is Ben's last year?
Me personally, yeah. Yeah, I think that's sour taste from the playoff game, not even from last year. They didn't have a bad last year. They did finish off bad, but as far as like having a bad year, they didn't really have a bad year. I'm probably sure they wanted to finish off stronger, but that sour taste of Cleveland coming into your home and playing the type of football, physical football that you're accustomed to doing, and somebody doing that to you, I'm sure Seven want to get that taste out of his mouth and bring home 7 for the city of Pittsburgh.
What do you think went wrong last season? I think they were 11-0, and then they played Washington, and then just kind of all fell apart.
That 11-0 wasn't really – I always felt like they was on borrowed time. You know what I'm saying? The 11-0 looked good, but just borrowed time. That borrowed time was not having the run game. To a good defense, a good young defense, a lot of guys in their prime, man, the best thing you can do for a defense is have a running game. And even if you're not scoring, you're at least giving your defense a break. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's a personality you want in that second half. That second half meaning, you know, you get a few yards in the first half, but you really get to your play action passes, and your personality really comes out by having a running game. They didn't have a run game, and when they tried to establish it, it was too late.
How do you see the division playing out this year?
It's gonna be tough, bro, because Cleveland ain't the old Cleveland we think about. The Baltimore Ravens always been in contention with the Pittsburgh Steelers just by having that kind of recipe. They got the same blueprint when it comes down to draft and the style of football. We're gonna smash mouth on defense, and we're gonna run the football on offense. And you look at Lamar Jackson, man, the former league MVP, he's still young in his prime. You give Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubbs, and Kareem Hunt, you see what he can do off the play action passes. And we ain't even talking about OBJ. He was hurt last year. He's coming back. Jarvis Jones and Higgins and company, and Joku at the tight end position. So they loaded on offense. So like I say, man, this ain't the old Cleveland Browns. Then when you look on their defensive side, they ain't been doing nothing but drafting first-round draft picks for the past 3 years, and it finally came to fruition. So that's how I look at them, bro. They had 3 teams in one division go to the playoffs in the AFC North. Yeah. So I can expect the same thing this year.
So with the Steelers' offensive line, do you think they've done enough to combat? Obviously, you got Myles Garrett coming in Cleveland. Do you think they got enough to stop him, or do you think Big Ben's be running for his life?
No, it's a team thing. To go 11-0, 7 wasn't running for his life. You know what I'm saying? To win 12 games during the season, 7 wasn't running for his life. The good thing about that is the good and the bad thing about that, last year they had a lot of offensive linemen who was hurt, so they had to develop young guys on the fly. They had to start and play probably as early as week 4 or 5, and they probably would have sat the whole year. So now the experience level on the offensive line, then you go get your offensive lineman 53 from Illinois to center. He's gonna be my sleeper. You know, just his barman mentality. He's one of them guys you can take to a bar and be like, man, if we need to fight outside in the alley, he's definitely gonna rock with you. So that's just the Pittsburgh mentality. So that's how I look at Pittsburgh. I'm not really concerned on the offensive line. I think they're gonna handle their business.
One of the guys I want to ask you about, obviously matched up against the Steelers twice a year for the past couple of years and just signed with Washington, William Jackson. What do you think of his game? What do you think he can bring to the Washington football team?
William Jackson?
Yeah.
You talking about the corner?
Yeah.
I like William, man. William been like one of a favorite of mine. It's just he's been hurt. That's the only problem. So if he can stay injury free, I think he got the talent to do good in the league. But you know the old saying is, the best ability is availability. So he just got to stay available and stay clean from injuries.
Were there any guys from any Ragin Cajuns that got drafted a couple weeks ago that you're excited to see what they do at the next level?
Yeah, my two running backs. You know, not Pittsburgh. The Ragin Cajuns had 2 running backs and a safety. Not get drafted, but get picked up.
Okay.
So one got drafted, one got free agent with San Fran, the other one was a free agent. So, you know, we've been pushing out some guys. Then you look at Dotson, he's over there with the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive lineman. So, not Pittsburgh. I keep saying Pittsburgh. Reggie Cajuns has been dishing out some guys, so I'm glad to see that finally. And they got a couple of guys who gonna get drafted next year as well. So. Just my old alumni school, man. I'm just glad to see guys making it to the NFL from that college.
Did I see you were a walk-on?
Yeah, I was a walk-on.
What was that whole process like?
Just being a knucklehead in my first 2 years, doing everything but school. So say. Then I got a phone call from my mom because obviously my grades was going to my mom. Mama called me crying like her words was, tell me what I didn't do as a mom for you to be acting like this. And me just reflecting back, she done did everything in her power she could to at least put me in that situation. And I wasn't mature enough to get it at the time. So after we hung up that phone call, my whole life changed. You know, my whole mindset changed when it came down to that. So that's what changed mine. Then from a walk-on, I got a scholarship. And after the scholarship, man, I played running back my junior year, cornerback my senior year. So after that, man, things just kind of took off.
Did you know the Steelers were looking at you in the draft, or was that a surprise when they called you?
Um, they were one of my visits, but I actually thought Washington was going to draft me. So thank God the Pittsburgh Steelers, picked me picked me up. But I thought for sure I was going to Washington though.
Interesting. And then, so what was that rookie season like? Just getting adjusted to the NFL?
Yeah, had the talent. Knew at the time I was going to be a special teams guy. Didn't know when I was going to get on the field, but the offseason, the coaching staff told me everything I need to work on to get myself on the field. And that's exactly what I did. Came in my second year, things slowed down to me. That's when I think we got Coach Dick LeBeau, because we had Tim Lewis my first year. My second year, we got Dick LeBeau. And from that point on, I kind of just took advantage, soaked everything up from Dick LeBeau, kind of picked his brain every day. And my work ethic was unbelievable, still is to this day. So I won't worry about that part. So I just soaked everything up, just waited for my time to come. And once I got out the field, I wasn't looking back.
Who's the toughest receiver for you to cover early in your career?
Man, he played on the same team with me, and that was Antonio Brown. AB, I think AB had a 6-year span where he was just going crazy in the NFL, and I was kind of upset when he started to start because he was making my games not easy, but I can say that he was going against AB during practice every day, playing in the game on Sundays. It wasn't easy because I don't want to be disrespectful, but AB did me some justice on Sundays by going against him every day in practice.
The one thing with AB that nobody talks about anymore that I'm very curious about is when he had that little stint with the Raiders and he tried to bring the Steelers helmet in and apparently he painted over it. What happened to that helmet?
Oh, I have no idea, bro. Your guess is as good as mine.
They should put that in Canton. That helmet,
right.
that helmet needs to be in the Hall of Fame. What was the rivalry with the Ravens like, and do you think it's still as kind of heated today as it was when you were there?
The rivalry is just the recipe to franchises. It's the draft. We draft the same. Our recipe, our style of play is the same. So definitely, you basically looking at yourself in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? It's just historically, Pittsburgh had a head start when it came down to winning Super Bowls and championships. But since the 2000s, man, the Ravens always been in contention, at least giving themselves a chance and their organization a chance to make it to the Super Bowl, let alone just being in the playoffs. So for me, it's just a style of play, a physical style of play. There is no finesse between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Ravens. So they just so happen to be in the AFC North in the same division. You got to see them twice a year. And if your record is good enough, 3 times a year. So that's all it is, man. When you get, 2 organizations and they all think alike and thinking the same and drafting the same, it's going to be physical once you meet up.
I saw a story, I think it was from the last year or so. It's true you were playing music in your helmet?
Yeah, so the quarterbacks be having earpieces because they get the calls and the plays from the offensive coordinator. So I said, you know what, man, let me snap these two on my in my helmet, but let me put like a little nanopod. Remember them nanopods? So I wind up connecting all that into my helmet. So ain't nobody knows that after I retired. I wound up doing that myself. But yeah, I was playing music in my helmet the last 4 years of my career.
And I think I saw you, because you said the scheme really hadn't changed. So you kind of knew everything that was going on with the hand signals. So you could just kind of just listen to whatever you wanted.
Man, I've been in that Coach LeBeau system for 11 years. So, and on the back end, it's all hand signals. We played with each other. Me and Troy played our whole 12 years together. Ryan Clark, Chris Hope, Tyrone Carter, Deshae Townsend, Brian McFadden, Cortez Allen, Ricardo Coakley, like all us just played together and we knew each other. So all we had to do was just look at each other, know what each other was thinking without even saying it. So once I got down to that point, man, I said, man, let me try this for training camp. Put the AirPods in my helmet for training camp, got used to it, got used to the signals, and I just took off from there.
How much easier would it have been if you had Spotify?
Actually, I had it on Pandora at the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so okay. I had it on Pandora at the time, and I had it on Lil Wayne. So everything, Lil Wayne was hot. at the
Yeah.
time. So, man, I was just rocking the Wayne all day.
You make sure you don't run out of skips. And then you're just like, all right, what the hell's going on with this shit? I got to change the station. You got to go.
Man, I just had to make sure my battery didn't go dead.
Did anybody on the team know, or did anybody?
Yeah, my teammates knew.
Oh, they
but
knew?
Nobody else knew.
Oh shit! All right, that's interesting. That's wild. Wanted to ask you. So, what was that first Super Bowl like?
The first Super Bowl?
Yeah,
that was my first year starting. So that was iconic for me. It was a big family. Jerome Bitters kind of created that family atmosphere in the locker room. And we just so happened to go to the Super Bowl where Jerome was from in Detroit. So our whole motto that year was let's win it for Bussy, and we wound up winning it for Bussy. So that was just letting you know the unselfish attitude, the egos, and the group we had in that locker room. Of course, we wanted to win it for yourself, but for the most part, we wanted to send Jerome home on a good note, and that's exactly what he did. Then he announced he retired on the podium after we won the Super Bowl, so that felt even better.
When did you know that Big Ben was kind of like the real deal? Did you think that the pressure was going to affect him in that game, or did you know he?
No, we saw him in practice. You players are GMs, and what I mean by that, you know who's good and who's not good. Point blank, period. You know who got it and who don't got it. When Seven stepped on the field, we knew he had it. It was just a matter of time because Tommy Maddox was the starter at the time. Tommy wound up getting hurt, and we didn't blink. We didn't have no hesitation. We knew what we had in Seven. We knew the dude was special.
That's awesome. Do you have any fun Big Ben stories?
So, me and Big Ben was shuffleboard champions who was partners in the locker room. What people don't know, Ben will play you in basketball, he'll smoke you. He'll play you in golf, he'll smoke you. He'll play you in ping pong, he'll smoke you. And he just so happened to be a future Hall of Fame in football. So whatever sport Ben wanted to play, he was just good at. And there's only a few people like that in the world. But yeah, Big Ben is one of those guys, whatever he put his hands on when it came down to sports, he was just better than the rest.
Who do you right now? Just kind of another question. Who do you think's the best cover corner in the NFL today?
Jalen Ramsey for me. Jalen Ramsey. It's to play corner. You got to have a I don't give a what attitude, and being on that island by yourself, you got to have a short memory. You got to be physical, and there's not like a lot of physical corners right now. But Jalen, the old school corners, just so happened to be in a new era, So we call him a boy dog. He's a damn boy dog. He's aggressive, got a lot of confidence. He make plays. He can tackle. He's always up for the challenge, and he always come in big moments when you need him. And having that kind of attitude gets contagious. If you watch the LA Rams in their secondary, by bringing in Jalen, their secondary wound up being like top 3 secondary in the NFL. And I really think it was because of Jalen and his attitude and what he brought to the table.
So I want to ask you, so you got a partnership going on with Howard G Cigars. You talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so I got my own cigars called One of a Kind. So the One of a Kind, this is a Sumatra cigar. The tobacco is 80% Nicaraguan, 20% Lancaster, PA, and it's wrapped in a Sumatra wrap. It took like a year and a half, almost 2 years, just to figure out what kind of cigar I wanted. So it's basically to my palate, but it's a good smoke. A lot of guys been smoking my cigars. And usually when you're a cigar smoker, it's like being a wine drinker, red wine drinker. You only have a few wines you like to drink. You don't kind of venture off. Same way with the cigars. You only have a few cigars. Cigar smokers, they know good cigars and only have a few cigars, but the feedback I've been getting on my cigar, man, has been good.
You said Lancaster? Lancaster?
Lancaster, PA.
So it's Amish approved.
Correct. So Lancaster, PA has some of the best tobacco in the world. People don't even know about.
Really? I didn't know that. That's interesting. And then how can people check it out? Just go on the website.
Go to Instagram at Howard G Cigars, or you can go on my Instagram, Ike Taylor Instagram, and I have them as well. You can catch them online. They'll be in stores at the end of June.
Oh, cool. Definitely check it out. Just going to try it out. And then I want to ask you, so I know you guys got the podcast, Steelers podcast, I believe. You talked about that a little bit, how you kind of got into that?
Yeah, Believe in Podcast. They asked me and my co-host Mark Bergen if we want to do a podcast, and I was like, hell yeah. So why not? Then it just so happened to be a Steelers podcast, so that made it even more better. But yeah, today I had my podcast earlier. That's why I came to you so late. My bad on that. But today we had Nick Collins.
Cool.
The former safety from the Green Bay Packers. So we chopped it up. But yeah, that's it's going on our second year awesome. Fast. So that's what's going on right now.
That's awesome. Let's go. One last question I want to ask you. What have you seen from Minka Fitzpatrick in his time in Pittsburgh that gives you optimism for the future?
Hall of Famer.
Really?
Then when you actually meet the kid, he's even a better kid. Not kid, I'm sorry, young man. He's even a better young man in person. Very humble, very polite. All he does is eat, breathe, and sleep football. Very religious. So he got everything you're looking for as a football player. He just so happened to be real good. So I see why the Pittsburgh Steelers wind up trading and giving draft picks for a guy like him, because them guys don't come around too often.
What do you think is different about him just on the field? Just kind of like he kind of knows everything that's going on. He's already well prepared. He knows it's going to happen before it's going to happen. It's going to that kind of thing.
He trusts his instincts every time. He watches tape and he trusts. And usually guys who I used to trust my instincts, but I didn't trust my instincts like a Troy Polamalu. The Ed Reeds. They really, if they see something on tape and they see it on the field, they trust it, they believe it, they go get it. That's the same thing Minkah doing. If Minkah see a formation down the distance and he saw it on tape and you put it to him on the field, he's going to trust his instinct and he's going to make a play. And usually 9 times out of 10, he's right. So that's what makes them guys so special, man. They just really in tune with their instincts and they trust them.
Yeah. There's just one last question for you. Were you surprised JuJu re-signed?
No, I wasn't. Just the market, just the city, just the person, just him coming up from being with Uncle Snoop. Uncle Snoop is a huge Steelers fan. He named his AAU team the Pittsburgh Steelers. JuJu wound up playing for Uncle Snoop in the Pittsburgh Steelers. JuJu always wanted to be a Steeler. The Steelers wind up drafting JuJu from a TikTok and letting him have his personality to being a well-known YouTuber. That whole city and that vibe, just fits JuJu. JuJu always was. So it's crazy. If I get drafted, I want to go to this team. And that's exactly what happened to JuJu. He's always been a Steelers fan, and he wound up getting drafted to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So him coming back to the Steelers wasn't a surprise to me.
Interesting. Well, yeah, that's really all the questions I really have for you. Oh, do appreciate you taking the time to chat today. It's been awesome.
Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for having me on the show, Zach.
Absolutely, man.